Hence, if you will, the 50,000 years of man's recorded history in a time span of but a half a century. Stated in these terms, we know very little about the first 40 years, except at the end of them, advanced man had learned to use the skins of animals to cover them.
There is something quite brilliant about the metaphor that John F. Kennedy used in his Rice University science speech in 1969.
Then about 10 years ago, man emerged from his caves.
And it was the idea that human history is just unbelievably short.
Only 5 years ago, man learned to write.
As we develop new technologies, time moves faster, we progress faster. And there are so many things around just this metaphor that I could go into, but one thing that I really want to propose to all of you watching is that there is a real accelerator point in human evolution, and that is the internet.
There, the flying toasters, look. See? They're toasters and they're flying, and then...
Imagine, if you will, sitting down to your morning coffee, turning on your home computer to read the day's newspaper.
It spans the globe like a superhighway, and it's called internet.
But this is the idea that humanity is connected to one another, wherever, whenever.
Editors are programming today's copy of the paper into that same Ohio computer.
And it's exactly like the first time that the presidential TV debates in the US were broadcast. And it's this whole idea about real live action, and you're getting to be a part of it.
So I think when you can look at those results, you know that the plan I've laid out for the future.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign.
Is the Sky News Leaders Debate with Adam Bolton.
And by Kennedy's metric of condensing human history into that 50-year period, the internet was invented literally 25 days ago. Facebook started last week, and more than half the entire world's population started using it yesterday. However, while we've never been more able to connect and see and find out what's happening on the other side of the world, society has never felt more divided, and politics has never felt more polarized and aggressive, and debate has never seemed so, well, terrible.
Supreme Court Justice, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
What are you going to do with illegal migrants who arrive?
Please, can we please, gentlemen.
And the only thing that I can put my finger on as the catalyst behind all of this is social media.
1 year ago, I took a photo that ended up on a billboard in Times Square.
Social media absolutely transformed the way that society communicates, shops, socializes, and even debates in public discourse. We use it to talk, buy, sell, join groups, go to sports, stay connected, and we do it all for free. But, of course, as we've come to realize, nothing is free.
There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims?
Chris Wylie yesterday on Channel 4 News, in The Observer and New York Times went public in dramatic style.
The Cambridge Analytica scandal brought this completely into the spotlight, and it exposed how my and your data is harvested, sold, and used to manipulate our thoughts and behaviours.
He's the former director of research at Cambridge Analytica, the company which says it uses data to change audience behaviour.
But the impact goes deeper than just, you being able to buy that pair of underwear you were talking about with your partner on Saturday night. My own research has shown that social media platforms differentially promote inflammatory content over non-inflammatory content from political figures. And this, I don't think, is an accident. I think it's by design. The algorithms behind social media platforms are designed to keep us engaged. They prioritize content that provokes strong emotional responses because, well, that's what keeps us clicking, scrolling, and sharing all those nice pretty videos and TikToks. I propose to you that this entire system and the behavior that it's driving is leaking into real society. To understand how this manipulation works, we conducted a detailed analysis of loads of social media content posts from politicians and social media feeds. But rather than listen to me for another 4 minutes, I thought I would ask James Carney. He's an expert in the field, and he's going to give us an explanation of what natural language processing is.
Natural language processing is the use of computational methods to extract information from language. The value of natural language processing is that it allows you to access large volumes of information, linguistic information, and to process it at speeds that humans cannot natively do. It allows us to leverage the computational and cognitive power of computing in a way that gives us results that are previously, up to now, could not be done qualitatively by individual humans.
Social media algorithms now personalize, as I said, the content that we see in our feeds. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram will show us the stuff that we are most likely to keep watching. What this means is that I could actually investigate if humans liked being dicks to each other, or if the platforms were actually promoting this kind of aggressive and angry and hateful content. And I took 3 massive data sets of social media posts from politicians on Twitter and Facebook, and I used those natural language processing techniques that James talked about to train an algorithm which could classify content as being aggressive or neutral. And after doing a lot of analysis and collating all the data, the results were unbelievably staggering. I found that not only did all the content that was inflammatory perform far better in terms of viewership, but it also got higher replies, likes, and tweets. It was just giving better performance metrics. So users will see this content more because they're shown it more in their timelines, but they also engaged with it more. Short, snappy, and attention-reducing content is exactly how we're all drawn in. And this video was designed and edited using the premise that we couldn't keep your attention for longer than 2 minutes. Every section of this video was short edited cuts, about time to a minute. It was noisy, visually stimulating. And that's why you kept watching, because you definitely couldn't handle watching 8 minutes of me talking to a camera. It's about keeping you hooked. But there's a deeper issue at play here. The very algorithms that are keeping us engaged and using the platforms that keep us so connected are pushing us apart from each other and giving us this worldview that we're not all human, that some of us are less because of our views, and it's shaping our perception of reality and is shaping a perception of society. By prioritizing this kind of angry and divisive content on social media, we're just amplifying division and creating a more polarized world. And this isn't just a digital phenomenon, it's changing how we interact with everybody. I mean, hey, have you seen the debates? Have you seen the presidential debates? We're supposed to be more connected, but it feels like we're ultimately so much more divided. And social media has the power to bring us together, just as much as it currently does have the power to pull us all apart. Understanding all of this is the first step to changing the way that the system works and stopping all the polarization that we're seeing spreading across the world. We need to be aware of how we're being manipulated. We need to be aware of how our data is being used. We need to demand better and expose and request transparency from these companies who ultimately know every single thing about us. And so I ask you to question everything that you see, reflect on how you behave on social media, and think about how what you write might affect the person or people who are reading it. Let's raise the level of debate, let's have a conversation and question everything.